candidates who only answered 2 questions, I believe, and that is John Rizzo and Andrew Resignato. And that question is, I'm sure all of you are aware that rents in San Francisco are outrageous. District 5 has one of the highest percentage of renters in the city. Do you support the current rent control policy? How would you change this policy?
I do support the current rent control policy. I think we have a problem with affordable housing in this city and elsewhere, other cities. It's not perfect, but it's what we have, and you know, I'm certainly open to ideas about it on how we can control the cost of housing, but we have problems with you know, Ellis Act evictions. When you have a you know, a real estate speculator coming in and then evicting a building, you know, full of people who have been there. I know a woman who raised her family here in this district and raised her kids here, and then after they left, she was Ellis Act evicted. So you know, I think it could be better. It could be better, but I don't think we should be throwing it out at this point. So I get to answer one more question later, or
later? Yeah.
Later. Okay. All right. I will. Good. Thanks.
I'm so sorry. London Breed will also be answering this question after.
Rent control, yeah. I support rent control. I'm a renter, and I benefit from rent control. And I think it really keeps the diversity of the city. It allows people who could probably not afford to live here. And that's the kind of city I want to live in. Because I don't want to live around people who are all the same, who are all rich, and that's, you know, I'm definitely not rich. And I like to see rich and poor people living close together. I think you learn a lot. Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's important, and I think that's what rent control does. I have talked to landlords, and I've talked to a school teacher who is a landlord, and she's talked to me about rent control. I would be okay with allowing an increase. Currently, it's 60% of CPI, an annual increase. I think we can go 100% of CPI. I think that's fair. An annual increase of rent. But I think we need to strengthen rent control because it keeps the character of the city, and I'm about protecting the character of the city. And I also think we need to educate people about it, because there are a lot of landlords in the city who are preying on people that have no idea that they have their rent controlled, or don't know their tenants' rights, and they use that to get them out. And I've met people on the campaign when I've been campaigning and have done that. Or been the victims of that. So I think we need to educate people on rent control, but I believe strongly in it and I support it.
Hi, London Breed. I'm a lifelong renter in District 5. I currently rent in a rent control apartment. My landlord, she's 90 years old, Miss Coleman. She's a beautiful lady. I have a roommate, and it's really expensive to live here, and I support rent control. But I don't support many of the landlords, like the Fillmore Center, who abuses the fact that they don't have to follow rent control, and they are raising people's rents by sometimes 30 and 40%. And so targeting groups like that in terms of making them accountable to the community is really important to me, because I know that there are a lot of small property owners and other folks in this city. There are a lot of great landlords, like my landlord, Ms. Coleman, who deserves to have an opportunity to rent her space and work with the tenants in her space. But we need to go after people who are not, who are abusing things like their units, like the Fillmore Center, where, like I said, many of my friends were given notices to increase their rent significantly. So those places that were built after 1979 that are not obligated to rent control need to be explored. So we need to start looking at how do we make things better for all San Franciscans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now